if something moves this way, anything moves like that, I blow or any water moves, any motion. Now, what will happen here? When it moves that way, it will, something will turn this way here, and this will turn that way. See? When you move in air, when you move in anything, automatically friction will make this go this way and this go this way. It's like causing this rotation here and this rotation here. So you have here, in any energy situation, this is your energy key. In any energy situation, you have situation number one. Here is where energy coming at you. You can call that and getting energy or something. This is a quality. Now, if you're standing here, this would be a different quality than this. So standing at both ends of a current, it makes a difference whether it's going away from you or whether it's coming at you. And then here, when it turns, you're making a rotation like this. This clockwise rotation like this makes an expansion of energy. It's like a vortex coming up, expansion of energy. And this one like this makes energy go down like that. Now, this would be the energy key. 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the most important energy key that you can ever think of. Now, we will use it in a two-dimensional form on this level of our studies. On advanced levels, we can take it, you see, into, if something moves like this and this moves like this, in a three-dimensional form, it will be like a donut, you know, something like this, like a, so, and you'd have something going up like this, and the energy, this is on a three-dimensional level, you would have like a sort of a donut, like that. But we will take it on that level. But you must know, in reality, it's like that. Now, I'll give you an example here. I have 4 qualities here. Now, in ancient Egypt, I always go back to Egypt, huh? I must be homesick. I've been too long traveling around. Okay. We have the Nile River that flows this way. It's going from south to north like that. We have the Nile River. We have, in any flow, this would be to its right, to the right of the flow, and this would be to the left of the flow. Now, the ancient Egyptians always built everything to do with the living on that side, because this was the site for prosperity, the site for growth, the site for everything. You see, the vortex, the positive is going up here. And everything for the dead on that side. That's when the energy goes down. So here you have energy of growth, and here the energy. It's not growth and decay, it's transformation. But you must know, something goes like this and something goes like this. Is the most important key. So now there are so many systems. How do I describe such a key here? I used, in order to have a scale, the scale must be using descriptions. I can't use, I describe this energy quality, I describe this energy quality, describe here, you see? So a scale of quality must be descriptive. It must give a holistic idea. It's not just a measurement. It's a much bigger thing, and these are the scales of quality. I'll stop now, and when he changes the tape, I'll give you an example for this scale. Sort of a cycle. So this one, it's like in the Chinese, this would be the one cycle of growth, and this would be one cycle of destruction. But the word destructive cycle doesn't, I don't want to take words from certain places. First we want to take it into very general. And then we can discuss now, apply this to the human body, apply this to Feng Shui, we can apply this, but this is very simple, and with it you can solve any energy concept that deals with quality. You just have to find where do I place my qualities here. And I'm developing a small pendular instrument like that has actually different scales of all the qualities in it. So for example, you can measure on somebody's hand the resonance, and you would know the planetary influences, for example, in his body, each one how much it's there. And then you can have even, there's another scale of numbers, and you could actually know which numbers are needed for the body, or which number is in tune of, or which number is weak. And beside it there's an emitter in which you can emit through the emitter whatever the planetary influence or the number, or it's a very complex one, and we're working on it. We are putting every kind of scale, qualitative scale, into this thing. But to put it, it's so difficult, because I have to know, if you want to make a scale of numbers, okay, where does the quality of one, not the quantity of one, or the quality of two or three, where does it fit here energy-wise? So it's not that easy.
Because you're talking about developing something that goes on the physical body, right?
No, not on the physical. It doesn't measure on the physical. We don't have, in harmonics, there is no physical and no. In harmonics, whatever you measure, you cannot tell where you're measuring it. Right. And we have developed a sort of a geometry of the planes, certain geometrical shapes that are more in tune with every plane. And with the pendulum, if you want to concentrate your research on the emotional and try to avoid the rest, you want to make your instrument more sensitive there, so you'll put a certain shape, you attach it, the shape that makes it more in tune will pull it more towards the emotional. But in reality, they're all linked together by harmonics. But the instrument we're developing on this basis, the thing that's taking a huge amount of time is every scale that we put on that instrument, you have to take this and find where does this thing, let's say, it could be herbal remedies, it could be homeopathy, it could be anything. Where does it fit exactly into this diagram? And where does it fit is not by philosophy, that you would say I put this color here because it's color of growth, and this color, no, it doesn't go that way. We have to do analysis, measurements, and everything, because every substance radiates certain energies. Every substance has an energy field around it, and then it has a certain radiation shooting out of it in a certain direction in the earth. We have to find those radiations and bring them and see where they fit here, and then we can place everything. So it's taking some time. This will be, the instruments with which you measure all that will be, let's say, when we have them ready in a year's time or something, this will be part of an advanced course. Then when we go through all our courses, we enter into this. But you could use the instrument, for example, to see if you're an airy sign or an earthly sign, or that, just see where you are, what type of energy do you resonate with, and things like that. It fits everything into the key. Are we working, or are we? Yeah. So now, if I have here, let's say, qualities. Let's take examples. What could those qualities be? Now, in ancient medicine, you find the people using different ways of speaking about the body, or speaking about nutrition, of speaking about healing than the modern ways, you know. And sometimes you hear people saying, oh, in ancient times they used to speak about, for example, wet and dry, or they used to say fiery and watery, or things like that. These were old ways of describing states of the body, but now, of course, because they didn't have the laboratories and analysis and all that, now we can't speak about 4 states of the body, and we go into detailed measurements because these were not adequate. I mean, they were speaking about qualitative, you see. So here, if you take, for example, any motion of energy, you have here the 4 qualities. Now, people here who work in Feng Shui, sometimes you wonder why are all those systems, or why do they seem controversial? Why somebody arranges, the Bagua arranges the colors or the elements according to the north-south, the compass, the other one arranges them according to the door of the room. And then if every room is different. Now, we should look at this. Every movement of energy creates 4 qualities. Now, the first movement of energy that we know of is north-south. You see, we know the compass directions. So automatically the compass directions creates the 4 qualities. This is automatic. But at the same time, let's take what other movements of energy can be there. I open the door of a room. From the door of a room, this is where, when I open it, this is where the air would come in. This is where the energy flows into the room. So the door of the room would have another key like this. So actually, you would have one like this for the door of the room. You'd have one like this, another one for the compass directions. Because nothing, it's not that simple. They can be superimposed and they're both right. Now you have the window there, and you have light. Now, light going in there creates the 4 qualities again, to its right, to its left, front, and back. So, but this doesn't exist yet, the light school in Feng Shui, but I mean, you can create your own schools. Any motion of energy creates the 4 qualities. Let's say an air conditioning vent here would create the 4 qualities automatically. An electrical conductor, or a pipe, or sewage thing going anywhere would automatically create the key here. So you see, now don't, instead of when we get mixed up about the system that people are doing, we go back on the energy level and we say any motion of energy creates that. In my body, I have 2 motions of energy. Any central motion of energy along the spine will create the right and the left. And that's why people in ancient times, they used to say, for example, when we say you're right, why are you right? Why is right associated with right? Or people of the right, you know, in ancient things. And people of the left, it shows you like 2, they're speaking about 2 qualities. But then you have energy coming up, but we know in our bodies that there's energy coming up and the energy coming down. So you could have a system in the body where this key goes like this, like that, and you have another system when the key goes like that. There's a system at day and there's a system at night. And then you could, this right and left means again putting this horizontally because you have polarity. So you have your own north-south axis. So you have again the key in this direction. And you can analyze yourself the qualities in the body with the keys. Now, how do I interact that? I can easily find the problem, and maybe this problem, by analyzing the key, all I have to do is a hand motion or something to balance. Once we know how the key works, it's very easy to balance. To understand it, just look at it like that as 4 qualities. Now, if I wanted to explain those 4 qualities, now how would I put a scale here? I want to say it has to be qualitative, has to be an explanation, something. So if I say, for example, in this area where energy is expensive, it's, let's say, growth or something. So if somebody comes and says, okay, I'll call that like a plant coming up, I can call that, or I can call it wood, or I can call it, you see? So a qualitative scale is you put a description. So where do you take the description? You don't invent one, you take it from nature. So you take it from nature. And like a Chinese would look at it in a way, he would say wood, and then the relationship of the fire to the wood, you see? So I would put, if this is the north and this is the south, I would put, let's say, a fire, a wood here, a fire here, a metal here. You know, you can place it. It's just he's describing what's happening in the key. Now, the Arab scientists would go in a different way. They would say you have the four. I mean, what? Maybe they were mostly desert people there. They wouldn't have so much in their way of describing things. They wouldn't have, let's say, wood, but they didn't have forest, or they would say metal and all that. Maybe, what would they say? They understood humidity. They understood dryness. They understood cold. They understood warm. They understood, I mean, it's the things that they understood. So they take the four qualities. And then they tell you, now, you balance, if it's nutrition, if it's health, whatever they're speaking about in any science, it's the balance of those elements. So those elements then, irrelevant of what you choose, depending on your schools, and every school has different, but I could just go around like that and ask you, and there would be probably 20 different scales here. So, okay, everybody who can think of a scale, then raise your hand and give it to me. Let's see how you... First, we start with the Feng Shui people.